Okay, so today's video is a faves and fails. I'm wearing a few of the faves. I'm not wearing some of them. Some of them are new, some of them are old. I'm going to kind of like justify my picks for this month pretty well. I have some solid faves that I'm very happy about. So I think this is one of my favorite months of just trying new stuff. Some of this isn't like new released makeup, it's just makeup that I tried personally new this month. And if you guys want it, go grab it. My social media will be in the description along with my drama channel, anything else you might need to find. So let's get into it. Also comment down below, anything you want to comment down below, and I will be responding for the first hour after posting the video. So if you guys want a response, then comment. So let's just get into it. First of all, okay, I'll start big this month. Okay, so I've got two Natasha Denona palettes. I know, isn't this wild? I went from being someone who was like, Natasha Denona palettes are not worth the money, I don't know what you guys see in the makeup, like it's just eyeshadow, to now owning multiple of these palettes, asking for them for any kind of gifts. Like I'm just like, please give me all the Natasha Denona palettes, I want them so bad. I think they're so good, such good quality, and I'm going to talk about two today. So one is the Metropolis palette. So I actually managed to grab this one on a 20-ish% sale. So they had it, they were like, you know, I went on Cult Beauty and they were like, Natasha Denona is actually on sale today, all the palettes. And well, not all the palettes, like some of the palettes. And this one was on sale and I got it purely for the sale factor of things. I know that's not like the best reason to buy something, but I don't regret my purchase at all. This has slowly made its way to being one of my favorite palettes. Look at this beauty. At first you're like, what is the rhyme and reason in this palette? That's like the reason I didn't get it. I was like, this two random just like blue shades, a bunch of oranges, but actually, in reality, I think this is an amazing, cohesive, beautiful palette that creates the most amazing everyday slash glam slash creative looks that you could ever come up with. So for example, you have multiple different formulas here. So you have these regular mattes, right? Like these, like the smooth pans, but you also get these almost satin in between shades. I use them as matte shades. I use them in the crease and stuff like that. So for example, stuff like this, it has more of a pattern to it and it's a little bit more wet, a little bit more... like there's just no kick up when you put your brush into the pan. So I think these are her cream to powder formulas. Like it's kind of like something in between a cream and a powder. And these basically have no fallout. So I love the fact that the lighter shades are in the regular powder formula that has kick up. But then all the deeper shades, essentially, like this one, this one, this one, this one, are in this more creamy formula. And you get basically no fallout on your face, but you still get the pigmentation of a loosely pressed powder without the loosely pressed fallout. It's incredible, it's well thought out. I love the way they did this. Well, I love the way Natasha did this. She did this herself. And then the shimmer shades are just stunning. Like I have nothing, yeah. There's this one, which is one of my favorites. I think this one is the most foiled, beautiful. Like if you want glam on your eyes, this is the glam on your eyes. We have this shade here, which is my favorite weird goldy shade. Let me just swatch this one for you guys. See, it turns from orange to yellow gold. I don't know. It's also got a bit of chartreuse in it. You can't really tell on camera. This is disappointing. This one is this. Like it's just foiled and beautiful and incredible. We also have, I already dug my nail into the red, which yeah, common occurrence on this channel. You get these like goldy shades in like this middle area here. You get like this coppery shade. I think this one is like that smooth formula from Natasha Denona that I'll talk about in a minute as well. I am obsessed with this formula. It's basically not chunky glitter, but it's this smooth foil. So you can see the difference between these two, right? They're super sparkly to this one being so foiled, and it basically feels wet when you touch it. It's incredible the amount of different formulas that she puts into these palettes. It's also these like satiny, borderline shimmery shades, super smooth. Look at how smooth that looks. So if you guys see that, like you get so many different shimmer formulas. This one is just like the pigmentation on these. I would like to formally apologize to Natasha Denona for ever daring to disrespect her artwork. Like this is just magnifique. I've been talking about this palette for like 3 minutes. Well, I'm not done with Natasha Denona yet. Oh my god, I popped out one of the pans. It's magnetic if you guys didn't know. So now you know if you didn't know. It's magnetic. I put it back in. Okay. My next fave is the gold palette. This is the first palette I ever got from her. I used it when I got it for the first time and then I kind of forgot about it. I was using other palettes and now I'm back to loving this palette. It's one of my favorite palettes of all time. It's on my eyes right now. It's just the perfect tones and shades were put into this palette. The amount of care that was used, the amount of care that was shown through this palette, I want you guys to take a second. I want to take a second. We're gonna take a second. Okay, now we've taken a second. Today, just in case you wanted to know what's happening on my face, I used this in the transition, basically just did this and kept on building it up. The thing with Natasha Denona mattes is you can basically build them up to then become a deeper shade. So you can just like either use a light wash, or you can actually deepen the shade just with using the same shade over and over again, which can't be said for some eyeshadows. Some eyeshadows are just like, this is the depth and that's it, we're not going to get any further than this. I then used this one to slightly deepen up. Even though they seem very similar, they're actually kind of a few tones apart. I used this, as you can see, I've used this one quite a lot for a deep shadow. I used this as the liner. I love this shade for liner. It's like this most beautiful cool toned chocolatey brown. You get this poopy yellow. I love it. But the shimmers are what steal the show here. Show-stopping, magnificent, amazing, fantastic, beautiful, incredible. I don't know how many more adjectives I can find, but you get like this special shade here, which basically I'll swatch all of these for you. Not all of them, but I'll swatch a few. Look at this one. Well, we've taken a second now. I'll now swatch it. Okay, well, we also get this one, which is another one of my favorites. I'm just gonna show you guys the ones that I use all the time. This one's much smoother, but it shifts from pink. Oh, I don't know if you can tell. You can't tell because the camera is being a meanie. Can I show it to you guys this way? It shifts from green to pink, but you can't tell on camera, which is nice. I love when this happens to me. Basically, from this angle it's pink, and from this angle it's chartreuse yellow. Like it's a great shade. Today I used this shade for the first time, and it's that smooth formula that I told you guys about. It's basically all over my eyelid. It just added so much depth to my look. It made it smoky, it made it beautiful. It's the most like yummy looking brown shade. Look at that. How smooth is that pigmentation? I feel like people don't understand the excitement around makeup, for me personally, but like look how smooth that is. Isn't that just the smoothest shadow you've ever seen? It feels smooth, it is smooth, it's incredible. And then there's this like shade up here, which is beautiful. I don't use it on its own, I basically use it on top of other shimmers to give them a 3D effect. So I just used, okay, so after doing the mattes, I did this one all over the eyelid, this one on the inner like third. So let me just, it's got less of a actual coloured base, if that makes sense. Like it's just a lot of shimmer, but not a lot of like base colour. So I did this, and then I did this, and then I took this one and basically just tapped it all over the eyelid, and it just adds like a little something to it. I love just adding it on top of other shades because I find it just makes those shades more interesting. And it adds a little bit more light into the eye look. So let me just, like, it's already dirty because I used other shadows on top of it, but that's fine. Okay, so it's basically, it reminds me in formula of some Pat McGrath eyeshadows, like the special shades. This is it right here. It's basically translucent, transparent, like it's just shimmer. So if you add it on top of any of these other shadows, it just makes them look like they're 3D, like they're not just flat on your face. And I love this palette. I think it's magnificent. And that's that on that. I like to use these two together as well. So this is basically what I've been using all month, these two basically. But I also have another contender for top 3 eyeshadow palettes, and it's the Charlotte Tilbury Big Pillow Talk palette. I love this one. I have the quad, and this one is just like miles ahead of the quad, and I already loved the quad, so like that speaks volumes. These shadows are also super foiled. You get 4 shimmers, the rest are mattes. I like sticking to like this side of things. These are just so smooth as well. Look at that. They're just such beautiful everyday shades. Like I just feel like this every day just looks so stunning. It's not supposed to be this like foiled, no, it's not supposed to be this like super shimmery glittery shade. It's supposed to just look really smooth on the eyes, and I think this is just so perfect for every day. I've just been loving this. If I didn't know what to do, I'd just use the Pillow Talk palette, and it looked amazing every single time. I love the formula. I love the mattes on these. The mattes on the big palettes are so much better and so much just more amazing, and the shimmers than the quads. So if you've gotten a quad before and you were disappointed, give the big ones a try. I think they're amazing. Okay, so I've been kind of getting back into, I go through phases of using different makeup, and that includes highlights. Sometimes I just get stuck on using one highlight for ages, and I went back to going in rotation through my Kaleidos highlights. I'm using a lot of them right now, but this one has surprised me a lot because I felt like this wasn't supposed to be like an everyday highlight for me. Like when I got it, I was like, oh my god, it's amazing, but like I'm not going to use it daily because it's a multi-chrome. Like it's not gonna go with everyday looks. I used this so much this month. I basically exclusively pretty much used this highlight. It's the Space Age Prophecy. It's supposed to be a multi-chrome, and it is a multi-chrome. It goes from green to orange to pink to blue to everything else. It's incredibly pigmented, so I just use a very light hand. This is outrageously pigmented. It's kind of loosely pressed, that's why. So you can see orange from this direction and then slightly shifting to blue. Maybe now if I do the mirror thing. Yeah, can you see the pink? I'm just trying to show you guys here. Anyway, this is a beautiful multi-chrome. It's got essentially a translucent base and then it's got like this super smooth shimmer going through it. And if you really like lightly dust it across your face, it just gets this most beautiful, like on me it looks almost like corally, like a salmon shade. And it just looks incredible. So I've been really thoroughly enjoying this one. It's probably my favorite out of all the Kaleidos highlights. And then I just use some of the other natural ones on natural days. But I love this one. It's so good. Such a creative, original idea. And I've just been loving it. Okay, so we're getting around to summertime and you guys know that I basically don't tan. I don't have the ability, I don't have the facilities for tanning. My skin just refuses to tan. It gets red, it gets stingy. Like I spent all day outside today and I put on SPF and now my face stings a little bit. But it's not any more tan, so it just stings. I only get like the bad parts of tanning. I don't get any of the good parts. So I just look like a ghost all year round, unless I use something like this. So Sol, which is a part of obviously Colourpop, the family, has released a gradual self-tanning face moisturizer. And I've actually spoken to you guys about the body version of this. They have a body lotion that is supposed to be a self-tanning gradual thing. And it's not like self-tanner where it's like 0 to 100. It doesn't give you like a great tan. It just slowly makes you look a little bit more alive, which is all I can really ask for. And I didn't use on the face, obviously, because it's a body lotion, but now they've released it for the face. So what I do is, this is already diluted, and I dilute it further. So I just use it half and half with my regular face cream in the morning, and I feel like I look a little bit less dead, maybe, like compared to the white t-shirt. You can see a bit more life, which is good. Anyway, I've been really enjoying this. It feels great, looks great, smells like coconuts, and it works a little bit. I feel like I look less dead, which is great. I don't have it, it's in my bathroom and I forgot to bring it. Pharmacy, it has the honey face mask that is like one of their best sellers. I recently started using it properly and I love it. After using it, straight away you see a difference. Your pores are cleared, your skin looks smooth and cleansed, and like it's actually gone through like a deep clean. It feels amazing, looks amazing, super easy to use. You keep it on for 10 minutes. I already have repurchased it literally today because Beauty Bay had a 25% discount if you spent like £75. So I got the Pharmacy face mask because I just think it works super well. So love that. Milani blush. I've been using this baby all month because I told you guys in my last Project Pan update that I wanted to keep on using it and I kept on forgetting to use it. So I actually went out of my way to put it into my makeup bag and to actually reach for it. And I feel like I've made like so much more progress. Like that is pretty much almost done. Like I feel like by next month maybe we'll be done. So yeah, I just love this blush. I always forget how good it is until I use it again, and then I'm like, oh, this is why I loved this blush all along. It's one of my favorite blushes of all time. I feel like it just goes with every single look. It's affordable, well, more affordable than like high-end brands. It's on the higher end in pricing in drugstore, but it's still a drugstore brand. The formula is amazing, the finish is amazing, the colour is amazing. Also, they have a lot of colours as well. They go from super light to super deep. But this one is perfect for me. It's Luminoso. It's one of their best sellers. Pick one that you want. The formula is amazing and it makes you look super healthy. So I just wanted to tell you guys about my rekindled love for this blush, even though it's so damaged. Okay, this one is outrageous, but I'm gonna put it in because, like, regardless of price, I can still enjoy things. Okay, it's why I enjoy my, you know, Natasha Denona palettes, my Charlotte Tilbury, my Pat McGrath. But this one is like even more outrageous. So I recently did a video where I tried the Chantecaille foundation. It's their new Future Skin Cushion Foundation. It's supposed to have skincare in it. I have it in the shade Alabaster, if you guys wanted to know. It's what I'm wearing on my face today. That's the shade. That's it. And it's basically 0.42 fluid ounces in this, but you get 2 of the inserts in one go. So if you buy this foundation with the packaging, you get 2 inserts. I'm hoping they'll start selling the inserts separately because obviously I want to keep the compact, and if I'm able to buy the inserts on their own for cheaper, it's 1, eco-friendly, 2, much more affordable. So if I can do that, I'll keep on buying this foundation. If not, I'll probably refuse. It's made in Japan. It's, like I said, 0.42 fluid ounces, so you actually get 0.84 for £120. Ugh. Yeah, that hurt to say it. Anyway, I love this foundation. It's incredible. This is my first time trying a cushion foundation. It looks like skin, but like really good skin. Like I've never had such good skin before. It looks incredible. Is it worth £120? No. You can get something that is like a slightly less good foundation, but still incredible for like half the price, if not a quarter of the price. So I just think You don't need to do this. You do not need to do this. But now that I have it, it would be unfair and a lie for me to not put it into my faves video. So I'm putting it in, fully well aware of the fact that it's not necessarily worth the £120 price tag, but it's still a great product. So I'm putting it in. It's so good. They're vegan, they're cruelty-free. They donate a lot to like animal charities, and I just feel kind of good about that. So I'm gonna, you know, justify the price tag with the moral stuff. But like my skin has no pores. Can you see that? Like I'm not wearing a blurring primer. I didn't put on a blurring primer. This is just what my skin looks like when I apply this foundation. It's really good. The price tag, not so good. I'm not okay with the price tag, but I love the product. Okay, then we have these, which are a newer purchase, but I've been using them all month. They're the Charlotte Tilbury face palettes that she just came out with. So they had like this older version of the palette that I also have, and this is the like new and improved palette. I'm going to show you one of them. So you basically, in the old palette, it looked exactly like this, but instead of having this beautiful like glittery shade, it had two of these regular shimmers and one matte. And then instead of, so it would have the bronzer, it would have two blushes, one lighter, one deeper, and then a face highlight super big. Now they've changed it up. They've put in 3 different eyeshadow formulas. So they added this one in, which is so good. They still have the bronzer. They have one small blush, one small highlight, and then one of their airbrush flawless finish powders, which is perfect. These are more expensive than the other palettes, but it's because it has the like powder in it. I love these. I'm gonna definitely travel with them once traveling begins. The shadows create a beautiful, just like simple everyday look. I love that you have the powder in there. The blush is amazing. Her complexion products are so good. Even the highlight, it looks like nothing in the pan. It looks like nothing special. Like it looks exactly the same as the powder, but on the skin, it's the most glowing, beautiful highlight. The blush blends out incredibly. The bronzer is like one of the best bronzers I've ever tried. I love this palette. I love the formulas. I love the mirror size. And just like the size of this palette for how many products you get. You basically get your whole complexion in one go. So if you're traveling, like you get like primer, foundation, then you have all of this, and then you just jump straight to eyes and eyebrows and lips. So I just love these so much. I think it's such a good, solid product for just like easy makeup wearing. Then we have 2 lipsticks that I've been basically just like loving this month. I'm still loving the Very Victoria. I used, if you guys didn't know, I used up the whole mini of this. I had like a mini size, which is basically this size. I used up the whole of the Very Victoria in that size. So I bought myself a full size as a little reward for using up that one. This is the shade. I'm not using it right now because I'm using a different one, but it's just the most beautiful satiny nude lipstick. Look at that. That is the perfect shade. I love everything about it, and I just love using it. I think it just goes with every single look, and I'm obsessed. But now I'm using another mini that I had like a set of 3 minis. I think I gave one away, and then I was left with 2, Very Victoria and Pillow Talk, which is obviously their famous shade. And I'm using the mini Pillow Talk now, so this is where I'm at. I'll be doing updates for my project pan, and this is what it looks like next to Very Victoria, in case you guys needed to see the difference. I guess Pillow Talk is more pink, Very Victoria is a little bit more brown, if that's a difference worth noticing. I think both are just an incredible look. I love both of them. I love the formula of the Matte Revolution lipsticks because they're not drying matte. They look a little bit more satin than anything. So I loved the Very Victoria for like the beginning of the month, but then I obviously finished it, so I stopped using it. And then for the rest of the month, I've been using Pillow Talk. I have Pillow Talk a little bit on the lips, nothing, not like full on opacity, just like a little bit. And it's just like the most perfect My Lips Were Better look. I love this lipstick so much, and the formula is amazing. For lips, also this month got the Glossy Ultra Lips. I'm obsessed. Okay, so I already mentioned this story a few times, but I got in PR from Charlotte Tilbury these lip balms that they came out with, and they are incredible, amazing. They just are so glossy but not goopy. They look natural on the lips, but they still have pigmentation. They were just like the perfect thing for me, but they were super expensive for what they are. Like, they're coloured lip balms, so I was like, oh, I feel bad recommending them because they're so expensive. Then Glossier came out with these, which are essentially half the price. If not exactly half the price. I'll check that. I'll double check it. I think these are half the price, but the shades are super comparable and the formula is pretty much identical. It's what I'm wearing on my lips today. I'm wearing Lucite, which is essentially a non-existent shade. It's very similar to one of the shades from Charlotte Tilbury. I essentially got 2 shades in these that are identical and pretty much dupes for 2 of the Charlotte Tilbury ones. This is the same as like one of their light pink ones, and this one is the same as Pillow Talk. I'll get into it. So this is Lucite. It's basically a light pink gloss. I'm wearing on my lips today, and then I put the Pillow Talk over the top, and this is the look you get. Super glossy, amazing. I love wearing this one because it's essentially almost clear. I'll put on a matte lipstick and then put this on top as the gloss, and it doesn't feel as heavy as a gloss, but it still gives the same effect. So I love it. And then, so this one is a dupe for this one from Charlotte Tilbury. I'll put it up on the screen just for ease. And then this is the shade Villa, which is a dupe for the Pillow Talk one from the lip balms. And it looks like this. And you can pretty much compare it. This is Pillow Talk, Matte Revolution, and this is Pillow Talk, and this is Villa from Glossier, which is the same as the lip balm in Pillow Talk, but you can tell it's basically the same tone. Yes, I did find dupes. I came in with the dupes for you guys. So I love these. I've been loving them. I have one of them on my bedside table. I have the lighter one on my bedside table, and then I just use the other one whenever I have to do makeup. So yeah, this is a dupe for Pillow Talk, as you can see. And this one is a dupe for the other one. I love these lips. I basically just wore this all month. That's what I did. Then we have a powder that I've been loving, and then I finished it, and then I didn't have it, so I was kind of like, I was just moving on to other things, and I went back to it because they had a 30% discount, so I basically bought it and I started using it again, and I realized why I love it so much. The Pat McGrath Under Eye powder. I don't just use it under my eyes, I use it to set basically anywhere that I would set with a loose setting powder. It is amazing. This is in the shade Light. It's supposed to be blurring, and it definitely is. Like, the blurring you see is 1, the Chantecaille foundation, but 2, this. This one is basically just a translucent powder, and it's the best thing to happen to my face. It's so tiny though. You basically get 4 grams in this, and it's super expensive, but if you can get it on a discount, like Pat McGrath has a lot of sales. For a luxe brand, it has a lot of sales. So if you can grab this on a sale every single time, it will seem a little bit more affordable, and it will be a little bit more affordable. I love it. It's incredible. It blurs, it sets, it's a good touch-up powder. It never gets cakey, it never looks like powder. Best thing to happen to my face. Then we have a newer fave, well, 2 newer faves that I still want to put in because I feel like I'll forget to put them in next month because they're like newer products now, but I already know that I love them, and I won't change my mind on them because they're not like foundations or primers that can stop looking good over time. These are just solid products that I want you guys to buy. The Revolution X Soph Highlighter Duo. This is £8, so it should be probably like $8. Usually it's a 1-to-1 conversion rather than 1 to whatever it is. So it should be about $8, and it's just 2 highlights. This comes in 3 duos, so it's light, medium, deep, which is really good. And I think this is just such a solid highlighter that is really affordable. You basically get £4 per pan, as in it costs about £4 per pan. Yeah, you basically get 2 highlights and mix them together. I think they're just really high quality highlighters for a really affordable price. So if you like things like, what would I compare this to? Like kind of like a Becca formula? Like a very smooth, glow from within, but still blinding kind of a highlight. Let me swatch these for you. This one on the left feels really like almost not powder-like. And then this one on the right is a little bit more powdery, but they're both super blinding, and they don't emphasize any texture. They don't look like powder on the face. Look at them. This one is this one, and then this one on the bottom is this one. I mix them together to get like the perfect in-between shade and formula, but I just think these are so good. Like, this is essentially Becca, and now that Ofra is going through a scandal as well, this is essentially a dupe for Ofra and Becca because they have a very similar formula of that like blinding. It doesn't have any particles of like thicker shimmer, just like smooth, blinding glow from within. So if you guys want a dupe, here it is. Here's a dupe. Why am I coming in with all these dupes this month? I am really coming in clutch. And then the e.l.f. sponge. This video hasn't come out yet, the e.l.f. video. I did a full face of e.l.f. Spoiler alert, I love the sponge. Everyone has been recommending this one to me when I said I loved the Beauty Blender sponge. People are like, no, don't spend all the money on Beauty Blender. So then I was obsessed with the Colourpop ones, and this one is incredible as well. It costs literally like £3 or £4. So good, get it, it's amazing. Look how squishy it is. And this has already dried up. Like, I did my makeup maybe half an hour ago. So squishy, it grows in size a lot. It's like this big, and it's just a really good sponge from e.l.f. that I've been loving. Now, 2 fails. I have an expired Hourglass lipstick, so you know these like skinny ones. Yeah, so it says on the packaging it's supposed to last 18 months, and I bought my one maybe 10 months ago, 8 months ago, and I opened it and it smelled like I guess you could say expired styrofoam, like moldy styrofoam. It was supposed to last 18 months and it only lasted about 8 before smelling expired, so I threw it away. So if you have that lipstick, use it up very quickly. Don't buy backups of those lipsticks because they seem to expire pretty quickly. I don't know what it is inside that lipstick that made it expire so quickly, but it did. And I actually had a new Hourglass, one of those, to compare it to, and that one basically has no scent. And I remember trying it last year and it not having a scent, and this time it just smelled like mold and styrofoam. So I wiped it off straight away and it started like stinging my lips a little bit, so I just threw it away. So that was a fail, because I was going to put it into my project pan and that didn't work out, so that's great. And I also had another fail that I hid into like one of my cupboards, expecting to just find it randomly. So I was supposed to put this in like 2 months ago and I just didn't. So I got this for free with one of my Beauty Bay purchases. So if you spent like X amount of money, they would just give you this palette for free. And that should have been a sign that this palette is not good. So it's the Too Faced Pretty Rich palette and I hate everything about it, okay? So first of all, the packaging is super bulky for absolutely no reason. It has this like clasp that you can't really use because it doesn't work anyway. Like this thing here, it has no purpose. It's supposed to be, I don't know. And then you get this like tiny unnecessary mirror for how big this whole thing should have been a mirror if you wanted it to be like a pretty rich vibe. It has like this silk inside thing. Okay, I thought it was going to be really nice because it has some shimmers, it has some mattes, it has some like of those glitter shades. None of this is good. Not a single thing here is good except for maybe some of the mattes. I used this matte here, which was a nice solid formula. Like it blended out pretty well, like a pretty good Too Faced formula. And then I went in with one of these shimmers and it's basically non-existent. Okay, so on the hand, so initially I went in with this shimmer because it has, okay, it's a shimmer with like glitter particles going through it. It looks incredible. It looks like it's going to sparkle all kinds of different ways. This is the payoff. You get like 3 specks of glitter and this is the payoff. I'll double up for you guys. Don't worry. I am digging into this thing. Let's dig in again. We're just digging again. Okay. Anyway, then I just use this one. It's fine. It's this one right here. It's fine. It's nothing to write home about. It's just like a not too shiny kind of semi-foiled shade. Okay, and then I tried the glitter shade and it was awful. This is supposed to be like suspended glitter, so you're not really, you shouldn't have to use a glitter glue with it, but yeah, it didn't work without a glitter glue. This is what it swatches like on my finger. It looks incredible, but then you put it on your eye and it just falls out everywhere. And it is glitter, so like you try to move it around a little bit and it just gets patchy. As you can see, it's starting to patch up. So when you're trying to press it on, it starts to lift in areas, which just isn't great because, you know, you want it to stay in one spot and not look patchy. And so the only good thing about this palette is the mattes, and you only get 1, 2, 3, 4 mattes out of 16 shades. So 1/4 is good. And then the rest are just hot garbage. So I just hate this palette with my whole being. I don't know who ow, I just hurt myself. Okay, I don't know who did the quality testing on this, who said, oh, this is a good quality palette, let's give this to people, because it's the worst palette I've ever tried. I also used the blue and it just is lackluster. You can't really see on camera. On camera it looks good, but in person it's super splotchy and just not, it looks good on camera. I'm sorry. The camera makes things look better than they are, okay? Which is why everyone on YouTube looks so perfect. Like skin looks amazing, everything looks amazing. It's because the camera just washes things out. Awful palette. I'm scared to even give it to someone. Like at this point I'm ready to throw it away because I just don't want to give this to someone for them to experience it and get angry as well. I don't know. I'll think about it. And I think that is it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything you want to comment down below, and subscribe to post videos every time I think of something to do. So hit that bell, be notified when that's happening. Social media links, any other links in the description. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.